Hey everybody, this is Nico Menkov at Nico Menkov Photography, and today I'm joining Canon. Hey everybody, today we have amazing news. We had in our studio the Canon R6, and we're gonna open to you the package and see what we have inside. 1, 2, 3. And there you go, guys. This is the Canon R6. Or I should say, the Canon R6. Ta-da! All right, are you guys ready? We actually moving now to mirrorless cameras. So this is our first mirrorless camera. We did a lot of research, and we decided in our studio this is going to be the best camera for us to do mirrorless stills for mirrorless cameras. So guys, I'm going to open with you everything inside. We never open it. You're going to be the first one. Okay, for warranties. That's going to be for later. Okay. Manual, nobody care. Nobody read these things anyway. Battery pack, you have your battery packs here. The Canon charger. So this is the aluminum battery from Canon. The Canon R6 stripe. And of course, the big gun we all been waiting for. Let's just open. I'm so excited to see it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Guys, I welcome to you the Canon R6. It's gorgeous. The real thing I like about Canon, it's the way they're making the shooting button. It's always feels your hands on it perfectly. And why we're really so excited about it, it's actually the sensor inside. It's very close. We probably need to put battery inside to be open the shutter. Very, very nice. And the most favorite part, the flipping screen. You have the flipping screen. And what else we got here? That's probably going to be the lens, the kit lens, the RF24 05 millimeter. That's the basic kit lens. It's the f4 to f7.1. We're probably gonna sell it. We're not gonna use it. We're gonna move to a professional level. So let me excited. Where is the battery pack? I wanna put it the battery inside so we can open that shutter. Oh yeah, Canon with the original batteries protections. Oh, it worked! This is the COMAS sensor from Canon, and it's such a beautiful sensor. Now the same sensor they use on Canon DX1, that amazing sensor with the whole idea that they put the big process from 6,000 horse camera to this little small one mirrorless for $2,500, and I think it's for the price that you pay, we can get amazing exposure for image quality. So the idea we want to move to a mirrorless is the idea that you don't have the mirror. That space for a lot of development was making an issue for DSLR production cameras. By moving to the mirrorless, the engineers can develop much more advanced glass, much more advanced technology. The problem what was with the DSLRs, it basically was most the autofocus problem. And we've been having that issue a lot when we do our shoots, and we've been missing a lot of shots, even on the studio shots, because of the mirror. That process that the camera that getting from the lens, and then the camera have to take out the mirror up so it can get directly to your sensor, and your sensor get your image quality. So we're not having this mirror. You can see it's actually got much more lighter, much more smaller. You know, I was actually struggling to close the lid because it's such a used to Nikon, and Canon is actually opposite way. Well, if we switch into mirrorless, we could switch to Nikon mirrorless. The problem with the Nikon, they still didn't fix the EF, find something better. And in this point, we decided Canon is going to be the best one for our choice. Most of us doing stills. If you're looking for a video, this is not a perfect camera for a video from our reviews. We actually looking more something for stills because we mostly focusing on photography in our jobs. So we decided to move to a mirrorless because we want to get great image quality. The reason I'm moving to Canon from Nikon, because I have a big issue with Nikon with the focusing point. With Nikon, I didn't have a much focusing points. I've been using the Nikon D850 and it didn't have enough focusing point. I couldn't get the corners. I've been losing many shots and that kind of got buggy with it. And what I like about this one, for many review, this is actually the most advanced camera because of his amazing sensor that I just show you right now. You can get from one point to the edge of the corner of the screen. From each corner of the screen, the moment you're trying to focus, you can get from the all points. 1053 selectable points that cover the entire field of the viewfinder. So that's crazy. So you can focus in on the whole screen. You can find all the image from the corner to the corner. That's something I didn't have before Nikon, and Nikon still didn't fix that problem. So you have pretty much 100% coverage of a tile image, and that's crazy. The other thing they actually developed is the eye detection. Nikon still struggling with the eye detection, and I decided that eye detection is the most important part. Since we've been doing portraits and headshots or wedding shots, that was something we've been missing when we're trying to get our image clear. Many times we do the image, and with Nikon, many times miss the eye and the faces and don't recognize them. So without having the mirror, now you can get directly to the sensor and you can get the image much more quicker and much more advanced. The R6, it's a 20 megapixel camera. Now I know you're gonna say 20 megapixel, it doesn't sound a lot, but guys, let me explain you something. In Canon, you already have the Canon R5 with the 50 megapixel, and now we have the R6 with a 20 megapixel. They're both identical, they're both using the same sensor. The reason we decided to go with the R6 is the low light capability. For reason, like when you're using high ISO on high megapixel, you will get much more noise reduction. When you're using a low megapixel camera and high big sensor screen, and the more high ISO you can go, you can get lower ISO reduction on your images, and that's important in low light situation. So we think this camera is going to be perfect for us. In the modern days, I'm decided to go with low pixels because it's a lot of data we're saving on our images. We're doing a lot of pictures, and only I'm using a high resolution picture on my Nikon D850. That it's 45 megapixel camera. It's on my landscape, so I really want to enjoy watching all those details. But the majority of us photographers, we uploading our pictures in social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram that actually lower image quality. So it's pretty much pointless to have these days more than 20 megapixel. I think 20 megapixel, it's perfect. And most people don't see the difference so much if you're not using high resolution, high screens. I'm gonna make an announcement. I've been a Nikon user, a big Nikon fan for 12 years of my career as a photographer. And now I'm first time switching to Canon. We want to actually enjoy and capture all the images and we not have the feeling that we lose a shot. And the technology, every year the cameras get something new advanced, new glass, new technology over there. It's so hard to keep up. And so you try to be stubborn in one brand, I think that's something was problem with me, and I'm going to admit it. And I was thinking that Nikon is going to be the best. I was hoping to him to beat Canon, but I was waiting for moving to mirrorless technology, and for all the decisions, I choose Canon. Not Sony, not Nikon, Canon. I believe this is the perfect camera, and I'll explain you why. Actually, this is the best camera for stills. The sensor, it's a full frame sensor with 20 megapixel with common sensor from Canon, from the famous Canon 1X. And they took the same sensor and they put it in this small mirror lens ones. Now, because it's a big full frame sensor and it compares to 20 megapixel, you have two 12 frames per second. Aperture 4K video for 60 frames per second. Video recording and wide range sensitivity to ISO. So 102,400. It also sports 5 axis in the body image stability to help when you're working in low light conditions. So this is something we really like about the sensor. It's have the sensor stability. So when you're trying to get a clear shot and you don't want to get blurry in low light stability, because what we do, we put our shutter up in 30 speed, on 15 speed, and any movement of your camera can blur your shot. And Canon developed a high sensitivity sensor and the image stability. And that actually gives a great image quality. So we're gonna test it out. We still didn't test the camera, so we're only telling you guys how much good this camera it is. If you're looking to buy one, I believe this is gonna be the best camera that I'm actually gonna hold so far. And I'm gonna show you some experience with this camera. So this is just a preview of the R6. So another thing I want to talk about this camera specifically, it's that you only record 4K video with a 60 frames per second. And the problem is this is not a perfect camera for videos, and the reason is the many problems been reported from overheating. And it was not a big deal, but for some people who do videos and planning to do this as a full-time video camera, I would not recommend that for a video because the overheat problem will, something happens usually for a software testing. If you do 4K video or 60p, it will probably be last you like 1 hour. And then the overheating, it might take you to cool down for another 30 minutes until you can use it again. So let's talk about what we actually have. The dual slot we have here, they actually support SSD card, UHS 1 and UHS 2. Pretty much that's the only options you have. So what specifically I like about the dual slot, from using cameras, it's very important to back up your images. That's another thing I like about this camera. You can back up your images in both cards in case one of them is being corrupted. At least you're not losing images. And another thing, but the problem is with this one, if you do videos, it's actually only can record in one slot. It cannot do both, like in stills. So if you're considering this thing, so it might be not perfect for the video one. But for stills, it's good for me. Another thing, you actually have the video recording button on the top of the Canon. I really like the idea that they put the button on the top of the camera. When you do video, it's actually convenient to press the button and then pressing the OK. So I really like those dials here. They're actually very convenient, goes very, very smoothly when you want to change to mode. I really like the way it actually moves quicker, diameter, and it's actually, another thing, I like the joystick control on this camera that they put it next to your thumb, because when you're trying to get shoot, you're always moving your thumb, and that's how you want to get your focusing point. Yeah, guys, if you notice, our camera was losing focus. The problem, this actually happens when you're using DSLR camera. We actually recorded all this in my Nikon D850, and that's the reason we want to change to mirrorless, so we don't have any arm focusing issues like that. So this is another thing what I love about the mirrorless advance, and specifically about this camera from compare like the other ones we have right now in the market. What I liked about this specifically, because it's a dual pixel Comcast processor, the EF system, it actually have 1053 focusing points, and actually it's giving you 100% to capture all your image frames. And by doing it, it helps you a lot to do tracking movement much more quicker. And another thing I like about it is the eye detection focusing. He actually automatically can detect the eye focusing, and by doing so, he can easily track the model or the subject that you're trying to capture. Another thing I noticed about this camera, you can change it from people to animals. So when you're trying to capture animals, you can track animals by using eye. But from another experience I saw, if you still leave it on animals detecting, it works perfectly fine on detecting humans. Another feature I really like about it, it's of course when you move in images, or the menu button as well too. This is something I really like about Canon. It's actually so fun and easy to move. Spinning the other menu than compared to Nikon. I really like the flipping screen. The flipping screen, it's so nice, especially what I liked about it, it can be perfect for vlogging. If you're a vlogger, that's going to be nice because you can actually see what you're recording. It's a very low weight. I really like it. And of course, you can put the screen on the back. They did a great job. The only thing I did notice, because you have on the side right here, it's your plug-in connections, of course, and when you're trying to move your flipping screen, it actually doesn't do a bad job and doesn't hit it so much. But just take in mind when you have any microphones or cable be connected, it'll be a problem. So just move your screen before plugging it, and I think it's not going to be that big a deal. So far they did a good job on this part. And actually, I do like it. You don't have to buy a screen protector because basically you just can cover it and you can see nothing can scratch your screen. That can actually be useful. But I always recommend to get a screen protector just in case. Maybe when you're having your camera on, it can always be scratched with your belt. Happened with me before, so just take it precautious. And I was going to tell you, another thing I like about it is the EF button next to my thumb. By do the focusing, it helps me a lot to focus. And another thing I want to show you here is the off and on button. It's actually very nice and quick, so you can ready to go and take your shoot. There's something very nicer. What else I want to show you? They have the lock button, the info button, the quick. Of course, you have the play, the erase button. Another thing I wanna guys let you know, this is actually a full touch screen, so you can touch it all the points of your screen, and that's something actually very convenient. Another thing I noticed about the mirror lens, the sensor can get quickly dirty because you don't have the mirror, and well, that's not the big issue. You can just buy a cleaning pack. It's not that a hard deal to clean your sensor. So another thing I want to do, it's our lens kit. That's our lens kit we have now. This is the 24 105 millimeter with the f4 and yeah, f4 to f7.1 from Canon. It's a nice lens. It's a complete lens, not expensive ones. You have focus, control, and you have the stability mode. So it helps for beginning photographers. Another thing I like about those lenses, they're actually very light on your hands. And let's just plug this one just to see how it's going to look like by plugging in. Let's take the lid. We can see it looks nice and beautiful. And the first thing you do is detect my producer eye. That's actually like looking nice. I really like the way it looks on your hands, how they feels. Oh, I like the Canon, the cleaning sensor, automatic ability. Yeah, it looks very cool. The way actually was really skeptical when moving to mirrorless is the EVF. So basically, it's what we have the viewfinder, because we actually it's not like the mirror lens. That's the reason the mirror on the DSLR cameras, you can see your image through the mirror and you can see it through the glass. And when you're trying to shoot, the mirror close so you can get directly the sensor the image. So I was skeptical because it's basically all electronically. How does it work? So the moment I put my eye on this right here, it's a sensor that can detect my face. The moment I'm blocking it, it's automatically switching to the viewfinder. So the EVF, basically directly switching to the EVF. And that's another thing I really liked about it. The Canon one, it looks so smooth, it looks so nice when you look into it. So it's very smooth job they did on it. Basically it's all electronically. You don't have the mirror. It's basically what you're seeing, it's directly from your sensor. And that's something I really liked about it. And another thing I very love it is because in the mirror camera, DSLR cameras, when you're trying to switch your aperture, your shutter, so before even seeing the picture how it's going to become, you don't really know it's going to be darker or brighter. But because you're watching directly from the sensor, you can already see if your image is going to be darker or brighter and how much light capacity you're already getting through your image. And that's something I actually very enjoy and I very liked about it on the Canon. And I think that's going to be very nice when we're going to shoot outside with this camera. Very excited to test it out on the low light capability. That's something I want to test this camera because on the low light situations, I want to see how the EVF works, because that's what I like about the DSLR cameras and low light capabilities. You basically might don't see so much light. Another thing I want to show you guys is basically what we have here and the connections. I want to show you this is our mic, headphones, that's our USB HDMI connector. Now about the HDMI connector, it's actually a very tiny HDMI connector. Okay, my Nikon actually have a little bit more bigger HDMI connector than this little tiny one that Canon has here, but I'm pretty sure it won't be a problem. You have the USB plug. Like I say, what I liked about those ones, you can charge your camera through USB. You don't need to take your battery out. You can directly plug it USB. It's charge it for you. That can save you a lot, so you don't have to carry my charger pack. So another thing I want to talk about, what I really like about this camera, it's the FPS. With the mechanical shutters, you can do 12 frames per second. Good. Another thing what I like about it, it doesn't do blackouts. The moment I look from an EVF, I didn't actually see any blackout the moment I pulled. And that's what I really liked about it, because if you have a moving subject, if you're doing sport photography and you're trying to capture this moment and you want to get blackouts so you don't feel you're losing the shots, you're going to get all your movements. That's pretty cool. What I like about it. With the mechanical, we can do only 12 per second. With the electronic one, we can only do 20 frames per second. Let's test it out. Let's press. Katie, did you hear anything? It actually was shooting on silent. Damn, that's pretty cool. He did shoot with the electronical and it was silent. You didn't even hear it. He shoot 20. Damn. So if you want to try to do silence, maybe in church, that'd be actually a great thing to do. You cannot even hear it. I think the most important part about this camera is the stability, the low light situation. For video, I need to test this camera more and see the overheating problem so far. I really like the way it holds on my hands, the way it feels. I really like the Canon when you can feel the button, the dial, you can do the joystick next to your big thumb. The viewfinder, the flipping screen. I really love this camera. I think this is perfect for what I'm doing for stills and the EF stability, the eye detection. That's perfect if you do weddings or portraits in the studio. I would love to test this camera in the studio, see how it works with my clients. I really like the weight of this camera, because all the time when I'm using my DSLR camera, it's such a heavy tool, yes, plus the glass, the more glass I put, it gets so much weight. Now I feel I can travel more, enjoy it, put it in my backpack, because this is not that heavy. Yeah, so this is going to be all for this video, guys. If you guys enjoy watching this video, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that bell button so you can get the fresh videos I'm going to make for you.